Do you have this common weed in your garden or in your yard? Well, don't throw it out. It's very beneficial. It's Jody with All About the Harvest, where I teach you how to grow, use, and preserve your harvest. And today we're going to be talking about purslane, Portulaca oleracea. Purslane is a succulent looking plant, and it has many beneficial properties. First, I'll cover the identifying features of this plant. So this is what purslane looks like. And you can see the pinkish red stems. The underside is a lighter color. Wild purslane will have more of that pinkish red color, and cultivated purslane will have a green stem. So notice that the stems are not hairy. The leaves are like a succulent type leaf. They're like leathery and almost kind of sticky to touch. And then one of the key identifying factors is that when you cut purslane, there is no white milky substance that comes out. So that is a key identifying factor differentiating this from the poisonous spurge. This whole plant is edible, so you can eat the stems, you can eat the leaves and the flowers when it flowers. Commonly you will see yellow flowers, but they also come in other colors like orange and purple. Here is an entire plant that I pulled from my garden, so you can see what the root looks like. It does grow in kind of a flat whorl, and it generally grows pretty close to the ground, like flat, although I have seen some kind of grow up. And what I've noticed is it seems like they're growing up when there's plants around it covering the sunlight, so they're trying to get to the sunlight. Purslane does enjoy sun. Now, I have read that cultivated varieties of purslane have the green stems, but they also grow straight up, whereas wild purslane basically grows pretty flat. You don't want to confuse this plant with another plant that's called spurge. There are different varieties of spurge: hairy stemmed spurge, spotted spurge. Any of the varieties of spurge are poisonous, so you do want to know the difference. Purslane has thicker, more plump leaves. They're very mucilaginous. Spurge has very thin leaves that aren't mucilaginous. One of the key identifying factors is that when you cut the stem of spurge and purslane, the difference with spurge is that it will produce a white milky substance, whereas purslane will not produce any white milky substance. So that is a key identifier. Also, purslane doesn't have any hairs on its stem, and spurge does. Next, I'm going to discuss some of the health benefits and the nutrients in this particular plant. So the Scientific World Journal published an article online in 2014 titled "Purslane Weed, Portulaca oleracea, a prospective plant source of nutrition, omega-3 fatty acid, and antioxidant attributes." I am going to cover some of the benefits that particular scientific study had gone over. So first, in regards to nutrition, purslane is rich in vitamin A, which is a natural antioxidant value. It can play a role in vision-healthy mucous membranes and to protect from lung and oral cavity cancer. Purslane contains the highest amount of vitamin A among green leafy vegetables. It also contains vitamin C and B complex vitamins like riboflavin, niacin, and peroxidine. It provides highest dietary minerals such as potassium, followed by magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, and iron. So purslane is a plant that has the most omega-3s in it of all green vegetables. Here's specifically what they have to say. Purslane is one of the richest green plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids. The ability of omega-3 fatty acids to decrease the thickness of the blood may be advantageous in the treatment of vascular diseases. Unlike fish oils with their high cholesterol and calorie content, purslane also provides an excellent source of the beneficial omega-3 fatty acids without the cholesterol of fish oils, since it contains no cholesterol. So this particular scientific study had a summary that said, as a significant source of omega-3 oils, Portulaca oleracea could yield considerable health benefits to vegetarian and other diets where the consumption of fish oils is excluded. Scientific analysis of its chemical components has shown that this common weed has uncommon nutritional value, making it one of the potentially important foods for the future. Presence of high content of antioxidants, vitamins A and C, alpha-tocopherol, beta-carotene, and glutathione, and omega-3 fatty acids, and its wound healing and antimicrobial effects, as well as its traditional use in the topical treatment of inflammatory conditions, suggests that purslane is a highly likely candidate as a useful cosmetic ingredient. I don't know about cosmetic ingredients, but I know that eating this plant is going to be very beneficial to you and to me. So let me give you some suggestions on how to eat and use purslane. So first, you can eat it raw, and I just pick the leaves right off the plant and I eat them. You can hear it has a little bit of a crunch, and it does have some of that mucilaginous property to it. I have only eaten purslane raw. I have not cooked it. I have heard that if you cook it, that mucilaginous property will come out more. There were other scientific studies that I had read about purslane where they had steamed it for 5 minutes. If you were wanting to cook this a little bit, I would suggest steaming it. So you can eat it raw, you can eat the stems as well as the leaves, and if the plant goes to flower, you can also eat the flowers. Now, I have used this in smoothies, so I did a green smoothie with some of my other greens in my garden, as well as another wild green called lamb's quarters, also known as goosefoot or wild spinach, and I just did a video on that last week, so I'll link that here. In my smoothie today, I added the purslane, the lamb's quarters, some of the lettuce greens that I have growing in my garden. I also added some sorrel. I actually added 2 kinds of sorrel. So I added those for my greens into my smoothie along with some ground flaxseed. I added some lemon juice and some apples. I also had some elderberry honey syrup that I had made, and I froze it into ice cubes. And so I took some of those elderberry honey syrup ice cubes and I put them in my smoothie as well. And some fresh ginger, and whip that up, and that was so good. So definitely can use this in smoothies. You can also use this in salads, so just raw in salad. So add this in with your salad greens, and you can eat the stems as well as the leaves. Now tonight I also made a type of a caprese salad, and I made it with fresh mozzarella, fresh basil from the garden, some fresh tomatoes from the garden, some salt, olive oil, and I added balsamic vinegar, and then I also added some stems and leaves from this and ate that, and it was wonderful. So you could definitely incorporate this into any type of fresh food. Another way I used purslane, this was years ago, I had made purslane wine. So my friend and I were tending to a garden at her parents' house, and it was a very large garden, and there was a lot of purslane growing in the garden, and that's when I first learned about purslane and its edibility properties and how good it was for you. And I harvested so much that I decided to make a wine from it. And it turned out to be a really good wine. I added some additional herbs and some lemon and lime and other things in it. It was really, really good. So you could, if you're a winemaker, you could turn this into wine as well. Another way I have used this was on avocado toast. So I made it 2 ways with avocado toast. The first time I did it, I just, mixed up my avocado and made my avocado mash for my toast, just as I normally would. I put that on the toast and then I just topped it with the leaves. So I pulled off the leaves and I just put leaves on the top of the toast and ate it that way, and it was good. Then the next time I had it, I actually mixed in the leaves into the avocado mash, and then I put that on my toast. And both ways were fine. One was just incorporated into the mash, one was on top. It doesn't really matter, they both tasted good, but just wanted to give you that heads up. You can use it with avocado toast. So being that this is a summertime plant, you're gonna wanna try to use it with other summertime fruits and vegetables. So maybe doing a salad with tomato, cucumber, onion, olive oil and vinegar, and adding some purslane into that. That is one of my favorite salads. I've never tried it with the purslane yet, but I will definitely be doing that this year when my cucumbers are ready to harvest. I have heard of pickling this as well, and if you have some of those bigger stems, they would be fine to be pickling. You could just, you could break them off and then pickle them. You could just pickle the stems if you wanted and then save the leaves for something else, or you could pickle it with the leaves. It's up to you. So it would be a great garnish for a charcuterie board, or for a Bloody Mary, or just to eat as is. I love anything pickled, so that might be something that I try in the future if I have enough. You could also add this to potato salads. You could mix it in with a rice dish, and you could add this to soups. I've read that this would be good with lentils, so I'm definitely gonna try that. You could put it on top of pizzas. You can cook it, and you can, like I said, steam it. It doesn't have a strong flavor, at least to me, it doesn't have a strong flavor. Some people say it has a little lemony or a pepper taste to it. I could see a slight lemony taste. It's kind of like a little leave of water in your mouth. It does have a little of that mucilaginous, kind of that slimy on the back end. I guess if you were dehydrated, this would be a great one to eat and use. Or if you suffer from like dry mouth, I bet you this would be something great for you to chew on. It does kind of give you a little bit of that slippery feeling, but it's not annoying. So you definitely have to try this out. Make sure that you're properly identifying it. Again, you don't want to mix this up with spurge. There's no hairy stems or leaves on purslane, so that's a key identifier. And then when you break it, it's just clear. There's no white milky substance that comes from the stem. So that is what you want to look for. So let me know in the comments below how you plan to use your purslane, or if you did try purslane after watching this video, let me know what you thought of it and how you ate it. I hope you found this video beneficial. And if you know somebody who has a bunch of purslane in their garden or in their yard, or is just interested in eating wild foods, go ahead and share this video with them. And once again, it's Jody with All About the Harvest, where I show you how to grow, use, and preserve your harvest. If you're interested in more videos like this, please put that in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to be notified when I post a new video each Wednesday. Well, that's it for this week. Until next time, I hope you enjoy trying purslane.